Thanks, Glenn. Right, as I said at the start, we're really fortunate to have two international speakers speaking tonight, and the first one of those is Steve Appleby from Melbourne, and so Steve's going to talk about the Australian perspective and also how Collaborate is working and Collaborate, how that's going to be working through the New Zealand market as well. So, Steve.
How do I get my slides up?
IT, Glenn. Please put a model for that one.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so a little bit of background. I work for ACOM. Obviously, I head up our BIM practice line across Australia and New Zealand. So, what is a BIM practice line? ACOM being a multidisciplinary design organisation, we do a lot of lonely BIM, and we're really good at that. And as you can tell from Glenn's presentation, BIM is a fairly complex subject. It touches IP, it touches contracts, it touches procurement. So we work closely with a lot of our key clients to help them understand what BIM means to their organisation and how they can derive those benefits from it. So we work in a more of an advisory capacity at that higher level with key government departments and key landowners, state owners. So I'll give you a brief update. Again, we've got Dave Philp here from the UK, and the UK is certainly world leaders when it comes to BIM. But Australia and New Zealand are certainly catching up quick, and New Zealand, I think, is going to be a very exciting place over the next 12 months. Build Smart Australasia. Building Smart were commissioned about 18 months ago to write a report for the Built Environment Industry Innovation Council in Australia. That really set out a roadmap. How does Australia mandate BIM? If we want to set a date of 2016, which is what we put on the table, what do we need to do to get industry geared up to be able to adopt this new method of delivering projects? We went cat in hand to the Commonwealth, and we asked for $26 million, and they told us to bugger off. So, as every good initiative, we decided that, industry really needs to prove its value. And I think it's fair to say the Commonwealth are massive supporters of BIM. They just want to see industry coming together in that push-pull scenario, really just formalise it first. So we've set up 3 working groups. Because BIM is such a complex topic, and consultants and contractors are all working in a new environment with new processes, we really felt we needed some guidelines, and not too dissimilar to the National Handbook, although I haven't seen it, and hopefully I'll get a copy for peer review. But the national guidelines for Building Smart are really about challenging the industry. There's a lot of data that's generated during the design and construction process, which can be used to benefit the client. So we want to set up a process whereby a client will receive this benefit, whether or not they know how to ask for it, and we'll help them point them in the right direction to answer those questions. Integrated project delivery. Obviously, the procurement methodology. We've had some conversations today. New Zealand is very similar to Australia. A lot of hard dollar tenders, lowest price wins, and that really doesn't drive efficiency. There's no incentive. You get a lot of adversarial members of the supply chain when you go down those hard dollar routes. So integrated project delivery is really about bringing the right people to the table at the right time. That goes all the way down to key subcontractors coming on board very early in the design stage to share their knowledge. If they're experts in glazing facades, there's no reason why they shouldn't be involved in that early stage if they can come up with a more economical design. So IPD incentivises that early contractor involvement, and I think that's something that really needs to be addressed both in Australia and New Zealand. And again, Glenn mentioned the National Object Library. It's really good in concept, how it's going to be delivered and how it's going to be managed. A lot of consultancy organisations have spent a lot of money creating their own content library. why should we have to use something else? But I think the standardisation across the way that we create these objects is something that is very important, and that should be certainly led by government. Standards Australia, they were accepted a proposal by NatSpec, the national specification body in Australia. The International Standards Organisation has a technical committee which has been working away for a number of years to come up with an international standard. Australia is now an active member within that committee, so we get a voice on the international table and help define and steer that standard. And I assume if it's going to be applicable to Australia, then it will be applicable to other markets. BIM in practice. This was a coming together of industry experts through the Australian Institute of Architects and Consult Australia. Late last year they issued 23 guidance notes. They're freely available online to download. They're split across a number of sections. They cover topics like BIM management plans, education, IP legal. They're quite high level documents. They just give you a flavour of some of the issues in key initiatives that we're going to try and tackle. So I would suggest if you're interested, go online and download those. Vanzi is another initiative which it's actually Virtual Australia and New Zealand. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Vanzi in the room. No? Oh, they need to work on the New Zealand side of it. It's really, Glenn was talking about the concept of big BIM. This is kind of mega BIM. It's BIM on steroids. It's putting a whole city and then a whole country into a digital format to be able to assign the same property rights you would have in the real world as you would in the virtual world, and obviously being able to scale time and resources virtually to an infinite level. There's a lot of powerful stuff you can do with that data. It's a huge project. It's not something that will be done overnight, but the likes of Microsoft, Google, they're all very interested to support this initiative, and we've had some really high-level engagement through senior ministers in Canberra. Ben's updated on that. Collaborate is come together as a collection of organisations. So the remit of Collaborate is it's a cross-peer initiative. It's to nurture and disseminate BIM best practice. It is quite a complicated process to get into, and it's very hard to go, as Len said, with that Google search of 2 million hits. Where do you go if I just want to answer this simple question? So Collaborate is made up of large organisations like Becker, like ACOM, like Hassel, like BVN, like Lend-Lease. You know, we work in this space every day, and we got kind of sick of sitting around the table at the start of the project, all looking at different versions of the same BIM management plan. So we've established a series of work groups, and one of those work groups is to look at BIM management plans. Collaborate isn't any one organisation, it's a collection of organisations, so we welcome anyone or any organisation that's represented here today to join the work groups. We're really keen to push this in New Zealand. So, you know, if you've got some awareness of BIM, if you want to contribute to one of the work groups, then certainly we'll send out some information packs, and we encourage you all to get involved. So that's pretty much it from me. That's just a very quick update on the Australian market. But I think it's fair to say that Australia's gone through a fairly similar journey to New Zealand. I think New Zealand is a lot more exciting because of, you know, the amount of work that you've got on in Christchurch. You know, the two main contractors, a couple of tier 2 contractors. It's very easy to get a bit of adoption increase against Australia, which is obviously a lot wider. So I'll hand you over to Dave now, and he can tell us all how to actually do it.